The ruling All Progressives Congress in Kaduna State is bracing up for Saturday's gubernatorial and House of Assembly elections in the state. As the El-Rufai-led government winds up, the APC is looking forward to another victory on the 11th of March. Joining us now for a right of reply to the opposition parties in the state and to articulate the achievements of the outgoing state government of Governor El-Rufai for the purpose of continuity is Muktar Lawal Baloni, Chairman, Kaduna North Local Government Council. Good morning, Mr. Baloni. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me today.
Thank you. Well, just this week, we had the gubernatorial candidate of the People's Democratic Party in Kaduna State on this same program. And the main issue was that other political parties, about 9 of them, had endorsed him. And the challenge is to get rid of the PDP government that they say is too biased in terms of religion, in terms of everything, and had not achieved anything. And that now is the time to vote out, the APC government in Kaduna State. More so, as the People's Democratic Party in the presidential election got majority of the votes in Kaduna State. Do you feel really, truly threatened by this coming together of about 10, 11 political parties to stop the APC in Kaduna State?
Thank you very much, Dr. Abati. I will start by, first of all, apologizing on behalf of the political leadership in Kaduna State that the gubernatorial candidate chose to use some unprintable words on camera on live television. Secondly, Dr. Abati, I will again quote you when you made mention of the political weight of these 9 parties to the gubernatorial candidate of the PDP. If you look at the electoral results that came out from 10 days ago, you would notice that these 9 parties combined do not have a combined electoral value of more than 5,000 votes. I know he made mention that every vote counts, but we are serious here. This is not a tea party or a shouting match. Rather, this is a contest for the mandate of the people of Kaduna State. All 1 million plus accredited voters that registered in the presidential elections are probably going to come out and register their mandate in 3 days to come. So having a coalition of 9 paperweight parties, with all due respect to these 9 political parties, is not really a sign more than the symbolism of it all, just like you quoted, just like you asked the gubernatorial candidate on your show yesterday.
All right, thank you, Mr. Baloni. Another conversation or topic that came up yesterday with the candidate was an issue of security. What the present governor under the APC, Governor El-Rufai, has done has come under criticism is his handling of tensions in Kaduna, particularly in southern Kaduna. And a number of people feel unsafe. In fact, whilst we were speaking about this yesterday, someone had sent in a message about how he's having to move out of southern Kaduna because of the level of insecurity. What is the assurance to the people of Kaduna that the APC, another APC-led government, will be able to manage this menace?
Okay, I must first of all start by saying that what puts Kaduna at an advantage geographically is also what puts us at a disadvantage, seeing that we are at the crossroads of an interregional ethnic strife. But what the governor has done so far within the ambits of the law as a head of the state government is to be at the forefront of reforms and calling for state police, which it so happens that the senatorial representative of Kaduna Central Senatorial Zone and the gubernatorial candidate of the APC has led the reforms at the floor of the National Assembly to create the establishment of state police reforms. Because I would like to take us back to 2015, when the APC government came in. We had a total of 15,000 policemen to a population of 9 million people in Kaduna State. And by United Nations standard, we should have 90,000 policemen. Furthermore, this was depleted up until 2022 November, if I'm correct, because of an infighting between the Police Service Commission and the Inspector General of Police, which led our numbers to come down to 11,000 policemen in Kaduna State, and there were no further recruitments until that imbroglio was finally settled. So you can see that within the ambits of the law, the state government has been at the forefront of reforms that will lead to the creation of state police, which the governor happens to be the chair of that committee in the APC. We know that the president-elect, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is a champion of state police reforms, and we hope that with the coming of this administration, hopefully by His Excellency to be Senator Obasani, we would have the much-needed reforms to further, more effectively police our boundaries within the state, and particularly in the southern zone of Kaduna State.
But getting the facts right, Mr. Baloni, all you have just said now is at variance with what the APC said they were going to do and they did not do. Number one, they said they were going to restructure. They did not restructure. Two, and it's funny that your governor led the team. Two, even when state governments in the southwest, I remember, started their own state police scheme like Amotekun, it was this same APC government through the Attorney General that first kicked against it, majorly. So when you come here and talk about state police, a lot of people say it's like talking as though, you know, you're an innocent person, like some, you know, somebody that is free from all. But your party reneged on his own plans, and that's why we're here. And your party has done everything to fight against state police. That's number one. Number two, a lot of people have also said that the ethnic civil strife increased tremendously. The fight between the Fulanis and other groups increased tremendously under this APC administration in the state, that pretty much they gave them impetus, they gave them gusto, that it was heightened under this. And it also negated hitherto political arrangements that says that a Christian must be governor at some point in Kaduna and a Muslim afterwards. So they said that has caused a lot of imbalance, and that's why the people of southern Kaduna are revolting. Now you saw it in the last election numbers.
Well, Rufai, as a statement of fact, Kaduna State has enacted a law that enabled us to establish the Kaduna State Vigilance Service, our own version of Amotekun, if you might so call it. And the service has been up and running, hoping to get the state police reforms to be passed and signed and assented by the president so that they can fully be integrated into the policing architecture. But we have the Kaduna State Vigilance Service, which has been acting in a complementary role to the traditional paramilitary forces in the state. Also, like you made mention, this is quite a wrong presumption to say that the state government or the federal government has given the impetus for the ethnic strife to continue unabated. Rather, if you go by the numbers that have been published on a quarterly basis by the Ministry of Internal Security and Home Affairs in Kaduna State, you will see that the numbers of ethnic-related crime and ethno-religious strife has gone down significantly over the years. And this I'm saying as a statement of fact that you can go and verify from the quarterly reports that have been submitted and published online for public consumption. So what the state government is doing, rather, is to try to see how we can bring in somebody that can consolidate on the gains that have been made so far. The talk of ethno-religious identity only comes in when there is no prosperity in the land, and the state government fully understands that, which is why the state government of Kaduna State is striving really hard to see how they can bring prosperity to the entire state, so that the whole talk of ethno-religious identity, however bad it may be, we all agree that this is not the time for our politics to be infested by ethno-religious identity type of politics. So rather what we are trying to bring into the table is prosperity that would negate politicians going back to the trenches on ethno-religious identities and playing on the sentiments of the people. So this is what the state government has done, and this is what we're trying to consolidate upon. Hopefully in the next 3 days, you will see that the mandate of the people and the trust in the people, of the people in the government of the day still holds strong, because the past elections were rather national elections that had different connotations in the minds of the people. This is a local election with all due respect, and you will see that the permutations are going to change, most certainly, and of course, we have 3 days to see the jury that will be out on that. Furthermore, I would like to state that the opposition parties are already trying to key into the mindset of people to present themselves as an acceptable alternative. Rather, that's not the case. I would like journalists to do their jobs by coming on the ground and see and hear from the actual people that vote in Kaduna State. The reality is different. So we hope, we invite you to come and observe the elections in the next 3 days to come in Kaduna State. And perhaps we can learn a thing or two by how our people are quite dexterous in their political leaning. So the jury is out on that.
Mr.
Definitely.
Baloni, as briefly as you can make it, because we are now running out of time, beyond the politics of religion, because the people who have come together against the APC, they are saying that the APC is running a Muslim-Muslim ticket, and they want to support a Muslim-Christian ticket. But beyond that, what are those key achievements of the El-Rufai APC administration that you want people to focus on as they go to the polls? Briefly.
Thank you very much, Dr. Abati. Our key achievements have remained industrialization of the various commercial opportunities that we have in the state. We can lay testament to the Olam factory that has been established, the Kaduna ginger factory that has recently been established, the Dangote tomato factory, the D-Pan automobile factories that we have dotted across the state. Also, the infrastructural leap that has happened in Kaduna State over the past 7+ years has been unprecedented. There is this saying that used to go around in Kaduna that if the late Sardauna was to come back to life, he will be able to take himself home unaided. That is no longer the case now. Kaduna State has been transformed beyond the imagination of any other person that used to be in Kaduna before. You will agree with me, Dr. Abati, because I know you have been to Kaduna in recent times and in the past, that Kaduna has undergone a significant leap in infrastructural development. And you can see it for yourself. This is not things that we are saying on paper. It's not a manifesto. It is something that is already on the ground. You can see it. There are so many reforms institutionally that has more effectively positioned the government to actually bring dividends of democracy to its people. Also, local governments have been reformed. People like myself could not run for the seat of councillor in times past, but with this, at the advent of this administration, we are able to run for the seat of local government chairman and the rest of them. And all financial accountability mechanisms and financial autonomy in this state have been given to local governments, which is why we are performing even beyond the capacity that is perceived for us to perform in. So Kaduna State government has as its legacy already a legacy of infrastructural development, institutional reforms, and industrialization in the state. So really, these are the key credentials of the state government heading into these elections.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Baloni, for joining us. Thank you very much.